Hey everyone. Um, we we're just waiting a bit for everyone to join, and then we'll start this monthly update. Good to be here. I can see people joining in now. I hope you guys have been having a good time. September was interesting for Shardeum. A lot of progress, and we're going to talk about all of that now. Um, I guess we can start. Um, let's go to the yeah. So yeah, quite a few updates to share with all of you around what's happening with all the various programs that the Shadium team has been running in terms of community development. The first that I wanted to share was about the Shadium is Borderless program. If you if you know about this program, this is where we try to uh, get different content uh, created in different languages and across different countries around the world. We saw over 135 guest submissions for the Shardium is Borderless program. And, I think this was a 100% jump in the number of submissions that we received in August. So I think there's been a tremendous interest in joining the Shardium is Borderless program from the community, and we hope to see more such participation. This really helps in spreading the right information and education about Web3 everywhere. Uh, of these 135, we saw over 85 of them were guest blogs and around 50 video submitted. Uh, until now, I think we've got over 550 guest blog posts as part of the Shardeum is Borderless program. To talk a bit about the contributions, you'll be glad to know that these submissions, they came from over 45 different countries and 28 languages, which is crazy. And if you think about it, this is the power of the community. And I don't think a single company or an entity can scale and build content for uh, 45 plus countries and across 28 languages in such a short period of time. And I think the Shardium community has been able to do that because everyone's working together and helping each other, spread the information about what Shardium is, what is Web3, what is decentralization. So kudos to everyone who's participating, and I would encourage more people to join in. I think we need to be making sure that there's participation from every country around the world. Now, coming to the next one, the proof of community, which is you know the meetups program that we run at Shardium. If you remember, last month we discussed about the proof of community backpacking India initiative that we had started. Um, we've been to over 16 colleges until now as part of this program in 11 states in India. Uh, and we've seen over 1,000 participants as part of this in September. Um, in general, while backpacking India is just one part of the proof of community events that we hold, overall we've held over 23 events in September for proof of community in 21 cities across 4 countries, and the total participation was 1,400. So proof of community is doing really well, and it's growing in other countries. And like I always say, if you want to run proof of community in your country, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help and assist you in running these events in your regions. Um, we also recently hosted a Builders Assemble sort of a meetup with Sandbox in Bangalore and Mumbai. That worked out really well. It was focused on devs, and we saw some good participation for this event. Coming to the social and community, I think our Telegram channel has been growing really well. We've got over 52,000 members now. Please join in if you've not already joined the Telegram community. People are helping each other answer questions. We've also now have over 54 Shardium leagues. Shardium leagues are these community-run groups, and you can create new Shardium communities if you want to help grow the Shardium ecosystem. We've got leagues like Shardium Africa, Turkey, Japan, Vietnam, and many more countries, and also different channels being created around these programs. So please feel free to start one in your area or maybe in your area of expertise. It need not be specific to your region. It can be anything, like Shardium memes, Shardium Times, Shardium News. There's so many such communities being built around Shardium now. We had 7 Twitter Spaces this month in September, and we had spaces with ecosystem partners like Fox Wallet, Mrs. Browser, Ice Cream Swap, NFTs to Me, Tower Swap. And we intend to continue to bring more of these spaces. The objective is to make sure that the community is well aware about what each of these products are. Always, feel free to ask questions. The objective is to make sure that you're aware of what sort of products you're going to use in the Shardium ecosystem. Coming to the next slide, these are some of the metrics. If you see, I think our website traffic has reduced. One of the reason was we're also, I think one is seasonal. This is how crypto markets are, but also we're making some changes from a SEO and the blog point of view. So that's also led to a dip. We saw a good increase in the newsletters, over a 30% increase, which has been amazing. I think overall our objective is to continue to grow these metrics. And that's about it from my end. I'll hand it over to Kelsey.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone from New York City. I'm Kelsey, the CGO. We've luckily been able to talk a few times already. I'm focused on a lot of our US strategy and efforts over here. So, we've been making a lot of progress, always looking to grow more. We're working on the brand refresh that I've mentioned a number of times that we will be able to show you something new before the end of the month. So we're super excited about that. Stay tuned. We'll be sharing that out pretty soon. We're really excited to see that US-based sessions make up around 7.08% of global sessions. So we're seeing kind of slow and steady progress here in the United States. We're seeing a lot of bumps in the numbers for the newsletter from our US-based audience as well. And part of that is due to our side events and engagements that we're working on with different partners here, including one around Masari mainnet with Struck, Key Rock, and Filecoin that went really, really well. And then we've also seen media coverage with Decrypt, an interview and an article. So really excited about all of that. We're still waiting coverage on Web3 and Thrive, Marketing on the Moon, DL News, Web3 Marketing with Ty Smith, Digital Currencies Summit, Recruiting-ish, and a number of other podcasts and smaller publications that we've collaborated with. We also have our first proof of community coming to New York City. That's tomorrow evening. So if you're in town, you'll be seeing us tweeting about that. Sign up, come meet me, come meet my amazing colleague Anson, and we're hosting that with our ecosystem partner, Koala Wallet, and that's October 5th tomorrow. And our second proof of community for New York City is locked in with OKX for November 5th, 2023. So really great stuff, guys. Reach out with any questions, and I'll hand it over to Shazad.
Thank you, Kelsey. Let's go and take on the Big Apple as we move forward. All the best. A few things happened since the last time we spoke. And one thing we did was we had a board meeting on the September 18th in Houston. We had all the board members presented. We also reviewed our annual report for 2022 and went on to some discussions regarding our roadmap, etc. A very, very productive meeting indeed. Beyond that, we had several events where we were part of, starting with the Stanford Blockchain Week in California, the Korea Blockchain Week in Korea, Seoul, Korea. We were part of the Token 2049 in Singapore. We were part of Masari Mainnet and several hacker houses globally. So the month of September was probably one of the busiest months we've seen so far. Tons of activities, and we looked at focusing on partnerships, mainly with the infrastructure partners as well as NFT and gamify projects, which have already started onboarding on Shardeum as we speak. We went into a collaboration with a few partners in APAC, namely Undefined Labs, Embrace Asia, and Angel Hack, which was all in Korea, Singapore, Japan, in that area. Excellent response out there, and we're looking at building this as we move forward. Moving on to our roadmap, we have just started our security audit as we speak. We've onboarded a partnership with an organization named Arcadia, who's already started reviewing our code. And we're looking at least one more partner to come on board in the next week or so. So we are finalizing all those aspects as we come to launching our mainnet. I was part of the speaking panel in Korea Blockchain Week at an infrastructure group. I was also part of the Asia Web3 Go Live event at 2049, where we had some very interesting people as part of the panel, including Ajit Khurana as well. Coming soon, we've got some interesting things happening in the month of October. Just wanted to give you a sneak preview. We have the Staking Summit and Dev Connect in Istanbul 2023, where we will be a part of. We are also in talks with Google to formalize a partnership. We've had several discussions, and we're looking at onboarding Google Cloud onto Shardeum. And we have a huge announcement coming up with our partners at VMix, where we will be onboarding some of their AAA games onto Shardeum. So watch this space again next month for more news. With that, I hand it over to Jeremy, who's got some interesting points as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shazad, and thank you for everything that you do. You put quite a few miles under your belt this last month traveling. So I'm Jeremy. I'm our people, and just quick announcements. We were able to bring on 3 new team members this past month, and I just really want to shout out to what Shazad was covering a little bit around our new push on security. Internally, I would say our mantra this month is hiring security engineers. So I just posted something on LinkedIn. If you can find me and then share that post around our new security engineer role, we'd really appreciate it. We would love the support of the community in helping us find our next additions to the team here. So a lot of other roles we recently launched, as well as a social media marketing role. We'd love to get you in there as well. So thank you. With that, I'll hand it over to Greg.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hey, everyone. My name's Greg. I'm the head of ecosystem at Shardeum. Happy to be here. In September, 10 new projects joined the Shardeum ecosystem. These are Zizu, which is the team that built Bluemove, the NFT marketplace on Aptos, Symbiosis Finance, Primex Finance, SafeGate, Beyond Club, K Finance, Comet, Dexin, and Faucet Me's Faucet for Shardeum. These are projects that are actively in the process of development and will be deploying on Shardeum's testnet closer to mainnet. Over the next 1 to 2 months, we'll be launching several new DApp testnets. And so during this period of quickly launching and taking down different testnets as we release new features, we want to keep the work focused on a select few partners to deploy on these testnets, because we don't want to ask our ecosystem as a whole to deploy and then lose the work they have done to deploy their contracts when the testnet is taken down a week or two later. So in December, when Shardeum's release candidate is launched and we have a long-running testnet, we'll see a lot of these ecosystem projects come back on chain. But really excited to have partnerships with those 10 new ecosystem projects. We have also begun the Push Protocol Billion Reasons to Build tour in India. We were present at the Ahmedabad event, and we'll also be present in a few more cities upcoming in November and December. Please pay attention to our Twitter if you'd like to attend these events, where there's a Shardeum bounty that the best solution will earn $5,000 for solving. Really excited that OKX has joined Shardeum's Proof of Community Backpacking India tour. We're doing a really great job, growing the community in India on this tour and helping new developers enter Web3 by teaching them how to do things like deploy their first smart contract. OKX has a strategic initiative to enter India and grow there. And so they wanted to partner with Shardeum to gain access to the developer community there. So it's been really great to use OKX wallet in our events and give developers exposure to OKX's Web3 tools. We spoke at the Token 2049 side event hosted by BTS Labs at Amber Group's office, also with our partner at Spartan Group. Coming soon this month, really excited to release a list of VCs who will be attending ETH India. If you're a founder with an early stage startup or someone who aspires to become a founder, meeting with VCs during ETH India is a great opportunity for you. And we'll be releasing a list of VCs that will be in attendance there so you can get in touch with them and contact them. We'll be launching Shardeum Missions 2.0 this month. There will be some exciting new aspects to these missions with exposure to larger communities. And this month, we'll also be releasing updates to Shardeum's developer docs. With that, I'd like to hand it over to our tech co-founder, Omar Syed.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. I hope the background noise of this lawnmower is not too disturbing. I'm just going to try to talk really loud. for some reason, this lawnmower guy somehow, I think he has my schedule or something. He always shows up whenever I have a really important meeting. So yeah, please try to ignore that background noise. All right, so on the tech side, we've been making a lot of really good progress. So we, some of the things that have been implemented and rolled out are listed here. We've gotten really great enhancements already in the network from the rollouts of things like the nodeless syncing, optimizations. Oh man, it's getting loud back there. We've made improvements to various aspects of our network, but there's a lot more that's coming in the pipeline. And some of these are like really, really close to being done and ready to roll out. I wish we could have, told you that they've been rolled out, but they're really close. So some of those things are like the joint protocol version 2, so that adds optimizations to how the network or how the nodes join the network. We have introduced a network modes parameter, which helps the network keep track of the different modes that it's in, and it'll optimize like the rate at which the network can grow, and hopefully it'll also reduce the oscillations that we typically were seeing when the network was in processing mode. We also have things like better gas estimations coming up, so that'll improve things a lot. We have the data distribution protocol pretty much ready to go, so you'll be seeing that getting rolled out. And we've also made some optimizations in the communication between the nodes by doing some binary serialization. And we've got several other projects that are currently in progress, and the guys will tell you about that more later. Take it away, Greg.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Omar. So coming next month and in the remainder of this year, Shardeum will be present at DevConnect in Istanbul. We'll also be hosting events and participating in ETH India and India Blockchain Week, and several other events, as the team mentioned earlier in this presentation. As Kelsey mentioned, we have our first proof of community upcoming tomorrow, and we'll be continuing to host proof of community events in New York on a monthly basis. Really excited to watch the community grow in New York. Jeremy mentioned we'll be ramping up technical hiring. There's a lot of great opportunities for software engineers, security auditors, and people with computer science degrees here at Shardeum. So please check our job listings if you're interested. We'll be launching Shardeum's Missions 2.0, new exciting bounties for developers to participate in, releasing the developer docs updates, improvements to the join protocol, which should make a really big impact on network performance and stability. We've already made a push for RPC gas estimation, and we'll continue to make improvements to that until it works perfectly. We'll be releasing binary serialization to improve efficiency, and also be pushing out our update for the data distribution protocol, where RPCs will become full nodes, and third parties will now be able to access data from the network, so they can build things like explorers, indexing solutions, and other products. Soon we'll be releasing our white paper, publishing patents, and also open sourcing the Shardeum Explorer code. These will all be really exciting events. The white paper will be great for the community to learn more about the tech in depth, And open sourcing the Explorer code will allow you to build your own Explorer for Shardeum, and new businesses can emerge where third parties start hosting their own Shardeum Explorers. So a lot of exciting progress to come soon. Next up, I'd like to introduce Mark and Andrew to talk a little bit more about the tech roadmap.
Hi, everyone. My name's Mark. I'm the technical project manager. I deal with the roadmap and coordinating the efforts between the different developer projects to keep us moving effectively towards mainnet. And Andrew, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself again and unmute?
Yes, unmuted. It's great. Yeah, I'm Andrew. Been on a few of these updates before, but I work on technology here.
Awesome. So on the roadmap, our roadmap progress with the development pods is going great. We've added, as was mentioned before, some new developers to the team, which is just further increasing our development capacity, and we're continuing to hire for that. Omar and Greg have mentioned the projects which have been either pushed out or finished and awaiting a release, and which is also in the next slide. So I'll skip over those updates. A few additional things. We also did a big upgrade to the Ethereum JS version, which I don't think was mentioned. Maybe it was and I missed it. And we had some automation work that was done that Andrew will talk about after this. The current roadmap efforts that the team is working on, we've got the snapshot and recovery system and the lost archiver detection system. These are two projects that were originally, we had scheduled them for later, and we did make an adjustment to the roadmap because we felt these were a little bit more critical to get worked on and implemented as soon as possible. So we did swap those out on the timeline. Additionally, we have work on the remaining RPC server methods. We've got a large effort on the proof of quorum large shard and RPC server local data. And those projects are all in progress or have spun up and are beginning. So we continue to multi-thread our efforts, and it's going pretty well. I'm happy, I'm pleased. So, and then we have a good slide here showing the current status of everything. When we say, when Omar mentioned things that are wrapped up or just about ready to go, all of these items in the green columns should be in fully live very soon. So feature ready, live on Sphinx Dap, those should all get eventually over to live. Those are all in the progress of getting ready to push out. So that's our current effort for those. And then the in progress ones that I just mentioned in brown, in yellow, sorry. So I'll hand it over to Andrew to talk about any tech details that he wants.
Sure. Yeah, first off, I'd just like to say it's great to see these projects wrapping up. And, you can, and our team's been able to really work well in parallel on multiple things at once. I know some of these got addressed before, but for example, something like that's mentioned here under binary serialization, that also contained protocol upgrades that set us up for some really nice security and performance improvements. And the join v2 protocol, I think Greg mentioned a little, is going to set us up for a better experience when we have we've had tens of thousands of standby nodes, and so that taught us a few lessons, and we made changes, and those are in the join v2 protocol. And also things like EVM compatibility miscellaneous, they don't necessarily sound exciting, but actually the community and partners giving us feedback when this or that, like say, isn't working up to spec, we take that feedback and make sure it gets rolled into a project to make sure our compatibility is good. And the projects you see on this roadmap are all kind of the features, but also we have a team of engineers that works on our automation tools, and also the work to be standing up our hundreds of nodes up and down as we're like testing out new features across the internet. So I just want to say thanks to all that work too. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff will be increasing our automated test capabilities. That's just going to be ongoing through the end of the year and beyond. All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Awesome. Great job, Andrew. Great job, Mark. So now it's time for questions and answers. If you have any questions and haven't asked already, please post your questions in the chat. We'll start with this first one for Omar. Omar, how is Shardeum Byzantine fault tolerant?
Okay, so Byzantine fault tolerant basically means that your network is able to withstand a group of nodes colluding. So, for example, with our proof of quorum, we require 2/3 of the nodes to sign off on a receipt that shows that a transaction has been accepted by the network. So that allows that even if you had like 1/3 of the nodes colluding or misbehaving, then the network would still be able to process the transaction and not be affected by those nodes.
Awesome. Next one is broken down into two questions for Nishal. The first is, how is Shardeum's funding structured? And the second is, do you consider Shardeum ready for mainnet?
I think I'm not sure if I got the first part right. How is the funding structured?
Just say the answer
to
is
ask us. I think if you want to understand our runway or something in terms of the funds raised, I think we've got a good amount of runway, enough to go to the mainnet. And if you're what did you say, Greg?
I think maybe the question the person is looking for is that we used a SAFT to raise funds, so a sale of a future token,
okay,
with a 3-month cliff and a 2-year linear vesting. So,
okay.
Yep, the investors that participated in our fundraising have to wait 3 months.
This is for the private sale.
Yes, have to wait 3 months post Shardeum's launch, and then their tokens vest daily over a period of 2 years. And do you consider Shardeum ready for mainnet?
I think that's what we're all pushing for right now, and we have a public roadmap, and all of those tasks that are listed on that roadmap have to be completed before we launch our release candidate, which would be a stable version with all the features that are expected from a blockchain that goes to the mainnet. And post that, we'll have a couple of rounds of stress tests, and in parallel we'll be having our audits being done. When all of those things work out well is when we can actually say that Shardeum is mainnet ready. This is how you build a blockchain. I understand these kind of questions because traditionally, that's not how things have happened in in Web 2 or even Web 3. Most times teams spend a lot of time building the entire product, and then they come and launch it and build a community. I think with Shardeum, we took a different approach. We went live while the product was just I would say initiated as an idea, and we involved the community right from that stage, and that's why you've been able to experience this. But this is how products like these are built, and these are the roadblocks that you encounter. and the challenge is to solve those problems and get to the mainnet, and that's what we are trying to do. By Q1 2024, we want to make sure that we go to the mainnet, and the entire team is focused on that, and we are all pushing for that right now.
Wonderful. I'll quickly take the next question, which asks, what other projects should we expect to be built in your ecosystem? For now, Shardeum's focused on working with the projects that already exist on other ecosystems. Of course, it's permissionless, so anyone can build anything they want on Shardeum. But what our business development team is focused on is onboarding DeFi, NFT, social, and gaming applications that exist in other ecosystems. We've also identified a lot of early stage founders in countries like India, where our community is big. And these founders, have wanted to launch a startup for a while, but haven't really been able to get the product off the ground on other networks just because of competition and lack of funding and lack of users. But Shardeum's testnet's been a great place for them to launch their product and get marketing support from us to attract users or developers to their product and build relationships with VCs. So we are seeing new social applications being built on Shardeum, and moving as we get closer to mainnet, we'll have a bigger focus on helping support founders to build new use cases of Web3 that don't exist yet, that hopefully can solve problems for a mainstream amount of users, so we can start seeing decentralized applications be adopted at a global scale. So really excited to work on this as we get closer to mainnet and post mainnet launch. Omar, is there going to be any incentives for archive nodes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, archive nodes are really important to the network, although they don't participate in any consensus or determining what transactions get processed. But the archive node's job is to basically maintain a record of all the historical transactions, and that can end up being a lot of data to store, especially in a network where you have really high TPS. And because we have archive nodes, that's going to offload the validator nodes from having to store all of that data. And so, for that service of, providing the storage and so forth, and also the archive nodes will also be providing, like the data distribution protocol, which streams data off to other services like the explorers and RPC servers and so forth. So archive nodes will definitely be incentivized and receive rewards. There will also be, I think, an ecosystem that develops around the data distribution and subscriptions from one tier to another and so forth. So, yep.
Awesome. Someone asked, when are we fixing the validator issue? I believe what they're referring to is that you can't currently run a validator. So when will the validator betanet be live?
Yeah, so there was a lot, there's a lot of breaking changes that we were making to the network that, if we did it where we were slowly rolling from one version to another, it would require us to do a lot more work in maintaining that compatibility and rolling features over like that. So we decided that it'll be faster during this stage. We're like putting out a lot of new, rolling out a lot of new features into the network to just, kind of stop the network and build all of this and then, spin up the network. So that, the network should be going live again pretty soon. And I'm sure you'll see that, with the new version, the network operates, better and better as we keep rolling out, the new features and integrating that.
Awesome. we're going to get this question every time until mainnet's launched. So there's a lot of people who have been running validators for a while, some more than 6 months, and have also used the Liberty networks. And they're hoping that they can earn some incentives for the support they've offered Shardeum. We wrote about having an incentivized testnet, and so this person's wondering if they'll not receive any rewards or incentives for the work and effort they've already provided. Nishal, what's your response to this individual?
Yeah, no, I think it's a valid question, and I've been getting a lot of those questions recently. Our objective is to make sure that everyone who's helping us build Shardeum is part of that program that we'll eventually launch. But we don't have a program done yet or launched or announced, so I won't be able to comment much on the specifics of that. But having said that, we do understand that a lot of people have helped us along the journey, and we want to make sure that they're all part of any new programs that we launch. So don't worry about it. Having said that, I think there is also going to be a specific, the incentivized testnet is where we will, announce the rewards program first, and then you participate. Versus, what has happened until now is we never announced any rewards program, and everyone participated because they wanted to help build this, amazing piece of tech and this community. And that part, the rewards program would be something different as and when we, announce it. These are two separate events, and don't mix them up.
Wonderful. Thanks for the clarification. Can we give an approximate timeline of when we'd be launching mainnet? And can I onboard into the node running as a new tester? So when will mainnet launch, and is it still possible for me to become a validator on testnet?
Yeah, I think for mainnet, we already just discussed. We are, pushing for Q1 2024 to be our mainnet launch, and we want to make sure our release candidate gets ready by the end of this year. New nodes, anyone can run a node at any point. I think right now it's just an intermittent transition to a newer version, but yeah, the validator testnet is open for everyone. And I would suggest, you try your hand at running the node, learn how it is to be part of a decentralized testnet, and experience that, and report bugs and any issues that you might encounter along the way, because that helps us get faster to the mainnet.
Awesome. Will Shardeum use KYC?
I'm not sure in what context that is, but Shardeum is a decentralized blockchain, and anyone is free to use it. The Shardeum Foundation, which is the one which is currently helping build the blockchain, will not really have any specific control over how the blockchain gets used or who uses the blockchain. So the short answer is not really. It's like any other decentralized blockchain out there.
Yep, it's permissionless. Anyone can use it. There may be some individual third-party applications that choose to use KYC to verify the user's identity of their products, but Shardeum itself won't require KYC. When is Shardeum's event in ETH India, and where?
Greg, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think
what was it?
The question was about where and when Shardeum's event is during ETH India.
Yeah.
And the details are
We've not decided yet, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think maybe the venue has been decided, or maybe we're still searching. but we have not yet released the details. I know Shardeum should be hosting a few different events during India Blockchain Week in ETH India. And one of them is going to be, they'll all be great, productive events, but one will be really big with a lot of great speakers. So looking forward to seeing the community there in Bangalore.
I think one of the questions is when free auto ride again? That's from the last event. By the way, speaking of that, that's a very good question because we are trying to figure out what can Shardeum do different this time around for ETH India. So if any of you have any suggestions, it can be wild, it can be outrageous. Do share your suggestions, here or in Discord or on Telegram or on Twitter. We'll take those suggestions. We do want to figure out what can we do differently this time to have some fun at the event and also spread the awareness about what we are building at Shardeum.
Great. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what unique marketing campaign Shardeum comes up with this year. The projects being built on Shardeum, are they accessible by the community, Nishal?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in fact, we keep talking about these projects. Like last month, we had 7 Twitter spaces with specific projects that are building on Shardeum, and we intend to do more of that. We also announce on our different social channels everywhere about new projects and new partnerships that are building. And I would suggest you to go and try them out. While many of them are, in fact, I don't know what the distribution is, but a good number of them are projects that are trying to be launching for the first time on Shardeum after the mainnet. And there are definitely some projects which exist on other chains, but there are a lot of projects that are going to be launching, mainnet along with Shardeum. So, try them out and try to talk to those teams, give them feedback. This will help us make sure that when we launch the Shardeum mainnet, we'll have a good number of products that are, going live along with Shardeum. But everyone is open to trying it out.
Great. Here's another good question for Omar. Omar, does having transaction-based consensus make Shardeum vulnerable to any data integrity challenges because of the absence of Merkle proofs in a block?
No. So we actually have other proofs, which they don't it's not at a block level, but it's at what we call partition level. So different partitions do have hashes to prove that the data is secure in those partitions.
Awesome. I think that was the last question for today. We really appreciate the community's time and support. And it's awesome to see Shardeum continuing to grow every single month. And we'll continue to be here on a monthly basis until mainnet launches to remain transparent and keep you updated on our progress and the timeline to mainnet. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. We'll now be announcing the POAP for which you can claim within a 5-minute period. I always like to say you never know what the utility or rewards of this POAP in the future. So if you are attending this meetup or event, I would suggest scanning this QR code or visiting the URL below to mint the POAP only within the next 5-minute period. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
everyone.